this is not just the home brewers. There are a few commercial mead makers out there who will remain unnamed.
Yes.
That
because we don't know their names, Tom.
Like,
we didn't see their names. All we saw was that those meads were bad. They were really bad.
And it's like, how long have you made mead before you started? Like 3 months or something crazy. And it's like, oh my gosh, I've been brewing for 25 years, and I still feel like I'm learning. I mean, I know a lot, but there's a lot that I don't know.
I made mead for about 14 months before I decided to open Melovino.
Yeah, but how many batches did you make?
Well, you're a savant though, or something. You're like
no, he's just this weird Jersey guy. That's
he's
all.
Special.
Yeah, he's special. Short buzz special.
And the first time I ever repeated a batch was the first time I filled tanks at the meadery.
Oh God.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many batches? But how many batches did you make in those 14 months? I mean, really?
Yeah, quite a lot. I was pretty obsessed.
I've had people tell me, and again, shall remain unnamed. Oh, I've made 2 batches, and my friend said they were good, so I'm opening a meadery. And it's like, whoa, dude! If you don't have at least 50 batches under your belt, and every single one of them was good, and you've put them into competitions and gotten feedback that wasn't from your buddies, and I mean, you should have what you know to be good mead before you put it in, before you spend a whole buttload of money. Because what is it? The best way to earn $1 million as a meadery is to start with $2 million. So
Yep. Like Eric from Meridian Hive always posts up. The only way to make a fortune. A small fortune in this business is to start with the
large one. Yep. This is not a get rich. This is not a get rich and be famous. Well, maybe be famous, yes, but get rich.
This is a do it because you love it kind of thing.
Right. This is a labor of love.
I think what happens is some people decide they want to. I think I'll go commercial because they started making malt extract beer and they thought, well, I'll just open a microbrewery. But then they find out, well, you actually have to use all grain when you do that. And they're like, oh, that sounds kind of hard.
Yeah.
So then they're like, oh, maybe I'll do a winery. Oh, you have to crush the fruit. Oh, that sounds kind of hard. Oh, but mead, that's just honey and water and yeast. That's so easy. I think I'll do that.
You're not in Canada.
And they don't realize that but they don't realize that how difficult it is. And that's the beauty of mead because, at its most basic, it is so simple. It is honey and water and yeast with nutrients. And that's it. Simple. And that's what makes it so amazing and inspiring to me. That's the beauty of it. It's so simple, and yet it's so difficult to make it turn out great because you're naked. If you have a flaw, it's out there for the world to see. If you use a lot of hops in your beer, you can cover a lot of crap up, and and you have a lot of flexibility. But with mead, you're out there. You're naked in front of the world, and any flaw is going to be there for all the world to see.
And then on top of it, you have every mead maker has his own style, and
sure,
it's sometimes it really kind of bothers me how sometimes I see all these people posting about 1 or 2 meaderies out there, and that's what they see as kind of the gold standard. But there's a ton of other meaderies out there that are not making the same exact things as the 1 or 2 meaderies that they're holding as a gold standard.
Yeah.
Because everybody has their own style. Some people specialize in, session meads. Some people, specialize in just dry, traditional, standard strength meads. I mean, you name it. Everybody has their own style, and it's, sometimes it's just kind of especially the people that are new into the mead scene on the consumer side of things, and they say, oh, well, it's not this and it's not that, or it's not supposed to be this, and it's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be what it is.
It's its own thing,
A semi-sweet fruit mead is not going to be the same as a mead from a meadery that specializes in super sweet meads. Everybody has their own style, and even from meadery to meadery, you can see different styles of meads happening.
Which is a wonderful thing.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
That's what I love about it.
We have no limits.
Microbiologically and biochemically and commercially, you're going to be regulated as a winery, so mead is like wine in that way. But yet, the experimental part of it, and let's see what flavors and ingredients we can put together that's going to turn out, that's going to be integrated well and taste well. That's more like sort of the experimental side of beer making, but you can make it more like a cider. You can make a cider. You can make it low alcohol, or you can make it really strong. And I love that about mead because it's pretty much anything that you can think about that turns out tasting good in your glass. Anything goes as long as it's good.
Yeah, that's what I like. I often tell people that unlike wine, unlike beer, well, okay, not as much unlike beer, but definitely unlike wine, we have no limits. There's no box for us. We don't even have to think outside of it. The box doesn't exist in the first place. We literally, any combination that starts with honey, water, and yeast, and then add on whatever on top of that, and we can do that. And, if you can make it taste good, it's all good. And
the window of creativity is even larger, I think, in the mead scene than it is in the craft beer scene.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually, I was out of Michigan, was it about almost 2 weeks ago.
I know, I missed you by 2 weeks, dude.
Yeah. It was an awesome time out there, and I was talking to some guys about mead, and they were bringing up, oh yeah, it's so cool because the craft mead scene, and it's so much like the craft beer, and they mentioned a comment that said it's you almost have as much creativity as the craft beer scene. I said, well, if anything, we have a lot more. If you think about it, and I actually just came up with this as I was conversating with them. Think about it. Let's limit a brewer to, let's say, one malt and hops if they want to add hops into the mix, and one fruit, right? Let's put any kind of a beer brewer and a mead maker with equal amount of ingredients. We use honey. We can use any kind of honey and, let's say, raspberries, and you could use any kind of malt you want and raspberries. How many more meads do you think you could create than beer?
Yeah. Because, starting right off, there's 75 or 80 different honey varietals just here in the U.S. Never mind when you can get overseas.
And you could go from dry to sweet, from low alcohol to high alcohol to different amounts of fruit character that you're really not going to want to go to on the beer side of things.
Still in sparkling and any combination thereof of all the other things, yeah.
Just bringing it down to the most simplest comparison, comparing apples to apples. One malt and one fruit can never create as many different styles and combinations as a honey and that same fruit.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about this industry is the freedom that we have, within what we're being allowed to get away with by the feds, but that's changing slowly. As they learn more about what it is that mead is, then they're getting it too. It's just going to take time.
Yeah. Little by little. I don't know. I'm the kind of guy who I like pushing the envelope and trying to ride the line of what's allowed or what's not allowed. I'm kind of
on again,
I am kind of at a point right now where we're working on quite a few pretty groundbreaking things that are very, very borderline as to when we start releasing these products. A lot of especially other commercial mead makers are going to be like, how the fuck did he get away with that?
Don't you love it when you create something like that and the other meaderies are going, wait, how'd you do that?
Yeah. I actually just got that on my Melovino Facebook page. We're releasing some 24% alcohol meads, and I was getting asked by two other mead makers, how did you get around doing that? I said, well, you could read the regulations. It's possible. There's a fine line between certain things, and it's pretty cool. It's I would love to get into it. I love talking about these kind of things, but it's way too early. I don't want to give anybody else a head
All right, well,
start.
then you need to let me know when it's time to talk about it, and we'll get you back on so you can. All right, so Dingirth is asking, and Sergio, since you're on the board of the AMMA, is asking about traction with the mead bill.
I am not on the legislative committee.
I do, though.
I mean, all I can really say
I'm just
is
y'all's chief minion, so
yeah. There's been progress, but I honestly wouldn't be able to answer that as well as I should, not being on the legislative committee.
Yeah, that's true. At Dingirth, at the federal level, it's slow. And it's happening, but it's slow. It's federal. But what we are doing, and as individual mead makers, both home and commercial, we can help this by helping do this at a grassroots level. So one of the things that, and one of the things that we can do. No, Donald Trump isn't keeping us down, Dingers. We are not bringing the administration into this. Thank you. But no, what we're looking at is rather than trying to do this from a top-down level, which is traditionally, and his Sergio's putting on his demonic voice again. Traditionally and historically, it takes forever and a day because the wheels of the Fed turn slowly. We can do this from a grassroots level, and Sergio got mead accepted as a specific beverage. You can actually get a mead license in New Jersey now, thanks to Sergio's efforts. Chris Weber in Washington, along with his friends in the Washington meaderies, got the same thing done there. So if we can get the various states to start accepting this, then it's going to build pressure at the federal level, and sooner or later they will change because they have to. They don't have a choice. It's just like when laws start getting changed in California and they roll east, and eventually we all have to put up with it. It's that kind of thing. We just bring state by state level pressure and just keep increasing the volume until they can't ignore us anymore. And we do it politely, we do it legally, and we do it relentlessly. And that's what the AMA is. One of the things the AMA is working on, and we'll be reaching out to the various states and representatives thereof to help us bring that into focus. At the federal level, though, we'll at the next town hall that we have, we'll have the legislative people get up there and talk about it.
Yeah, there's some low-hanging fruit that with certain changes that we're able to make without going through any kind of a legislative process that we're focusing on now, while still focusing on getting certain things updated on the mead bill and whatnot. But yeah, like I said, I wish I was better, more involved in the legislative side to have better answer that question. But
we'll have to snag Brad.
Yeah, Brad, or even Greg from Colony Meadery would probably be the best two people to ask.
Brad's asking me what I want to call the collaboration mead recipe that we worked out while I was there, and it's like, oh, I'll have to think about that. that could be sincerely evil.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Yeah. I'll have to confab. What's that?
I had a good time with Brad out there. After 4 years or so of being cool with him, we finally got to meet for the first time and hang out, and that was pretty memorable, to say the least. I don't know if he remembers most of the night, but I did learn one important thing. I have a much higher alcohol tolerance than Brad.
I was just going to ask which of you drank the other end of the table, but
yeah. Let's just say there's a Mellow Vino sticker on his kegerator in his tap room.
Does he know that?
Yeah, he did after the fact, yeah. It's so cool out of Michigan. Everywhere you go, it's like there's stickers everywhere, and I'm like, I was so happy that I actually decided to bring Mellow Vino stickers with me. I was just slapping them everywhere, all over Michigan.
Yeah, I heard about that. Did you get up as far north as St. Ambrose?
No, I focused in the Detroit metro area, basically.
Acting like a city person.
I was only there for 3 days.
Yeah,
the next trip I go out there, we're
territory.
Yeah, we didn't even get to hit everything, obviously. But next time I go out there, probably in the spring, I'll be focusing on Western Michigan, and then go back to Detroit towards the last day or two.
Yeah, well, did you hit Grand Rapids while you were up there?
No, not at all.
Then just start in GR and go north. Okay, hit the west side of the state and go up north. There's 4 or 5 meaderies up north that you really want to go to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. My next.
And that's where all the rich people live too. Seriously, all the rich summer people, they all live up there.
Yeah. There was. I got to visit quite a few meaderies. I had a few on my list that I wanted to visit. Some I didn't get to. But the scene out there is awesome. I left there with a really cool appreciation and understanding of like Michigan pride, put it that way.
Yes.
Brad and I always talk about how Detroit and, well, at least Michigan, well, mainly Detroit and Jersey are kind of like the armpits of America. So we stick together.
Well, no, if Detroit's the armpit, well, you know what that makes New Jersey. So just
leg pit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was really, really cool. I mean, everything out there. I mean, the sales guys for my distributor that I was doing sales calls with, I mean, they all said that, They were